In the past, they envied you. They put obstacles in front of you. They tested you. You fought against the difficulties you faced in every corner of life. You may have been defeated many times, but with every fall, you rose up stronger and stronger. While they tried to stop you, you silently persevered, strengthening your spirit. But now, God has opened new paths for you. Now, your soul is completely free of them. Those struggles, those pains, were preparations. The time has come. Now it is time to pass through those ancient paths. In the new era, you are the one who will walk on this path of light. You are the chosen one. You are the hope that shines behind the obstacles. You will push yourself beyond the limits. And start by writing 77 in the comments. Considering that life is a spiritual journey, everyone is a soul traveler, and each one is chosen for a different stage. A soul, like a calm river, flows patiently and makes itself whole by reconnecting every crack. However, there comes a time when the flow of the river shakes under the weight of the burdens it has been silently carrying. At some point along the way, the roar of the river turns into silence, and all that is left behind are echoes, memories echoing in the emptiness, carrying the weight of memories. Those who are immersed in the flow of the river realize at that moment that every bond is as delicate and fragile as a thread of cotton. When one becomes aware of one's weaknesses on one's own inner journey as a chosen passenger, one realizes that everything one thought one had abandoned is actually waiting quietly in a corner of one's mind. Now, the echoes of that past emerge when the smokescreen over the established bonds is lifted, showing how fragile each bond really is. Just as the quiet silence of the river reveals the great emptiness hidden in the depths of the soul, your presence holds up a mirror to the order they are trying to establish. Now, every excuse they tried to hide from you is lost in the lies they muttered to themselves. As a heavy silence echoes in their minds, they realize that the bonds they thought they had built in the past are actually as weak as a fragile thread. At first, behind everything that held them together was the power that was complemented by your presence. Over time, the illusions behind the veil of that strength began to emerge. For the hearts of this people have hardened, and their ears have become dull of hearing, and they have shut their eyes, so that they may not see, and their ears may not hear, and their hearts may not understand, and they may not turn to me, and I will not heal them. Matthew 13:15. Those who saw you only as a support, in their deepest hearts darkened, took everything you provided for granted. But now, their faith has been shattered. Their trust in you to forgive them and fill their emptiness, time after time, has been shaken. As the weight of the silence you left behind crept in, it took time for them to feel the new coldness filling their souls. To everything there is a season, a time to embrace and a time to forsake the embrace. Ecclesiastes 3:5. They realized that it was impossible for them to survive without the energy that comes from you. The power built up in those dreams was actually based on you. You were the artist who covered every imperfection. Now, as you have finished your work and stepped away from the canvas, you have stepped away from the structure you built, and it was only a matter of time before they realized the cold and silent weight of the emptiness that remained. As they felt the reality of the separation deep inside them, a void was created. The rupture became a resounding reality, and the Lord said, "Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels." Matthew 25:41. The impossibility of turning back shook them. In the beginning, they thought they could completely control you and pull you into their world. But they were wrong. You saw your own worth and moved on in your inner freedom. For he who is born of the Spirit of God judges all things, but he himself is judged by no one. 1 Corinthians 2:15. And now they face the reality of that emptiness that was once filled with your light. The bond between you could have elevated both of you, but their blindness and ignorance of your value laid the foundation for the breakdown of the relationship. For the light has come to them, but they loved darkness because their deeds are evil. John 3:19. The depth to save the relationship was possible because of the love you brought, but their blindness set the stage for the collapse of everything. For a long time, you struggled with the indifference they placed on your shoulders like a burden. Whether it was friendship, family, or a deep bond, you silently bore the burden of their indifference. At every step, you felt the absence of those who should have been there for you, yet you still struggled to save your bond. Now, the inevitable came to the surface. This journey had to end. It was pointless to try to move forward by leaning on someone who did not recognize their own worth. It ceased to be unnoticeable that you surrounded them with your light every day, and they remained unresponsive. They could not see that without your presence, they would disappear into the shadows. The warmth you brought into their world with your presence had become a familiar comfort zone. But now, when you stepped back, they were left with the emptiness you left behind, and the cold silence of your absence enveloped them. You were born like a bird, but you were not aware of your wings. The confines of the cage seemed like a home that protected you, but in fact, it was an illusion, a curtain that kept you away from your own reality. Growing up as a chosen soul on your journey meant breaking the boundaries of that cage. Each disappointment lightened you like a feather. Each broken bond brought you one step closer to freedom. And one day, when the sky called you, you remembered that you had wings. You flapped your wings to freedom. Now you feel lighter and freer than ever before because you are free of all your burdens. As you soared towards the sky, those who failed to fly with you were left behind. Even though they now realize what they have lost, it is too late, because you have discovered your own soul and essence by transcending the boundaries they set. You are experiencing your own inner ascension, with wings that have always existed, but that you have not realized until now. This ascension has been a sacred experience that has brought you to a spiritual awareness and reminded you that your soul is a chosen traveler. Now, every time you flap your wings into the sky, you rediscover not only yourself, but also your own light. This was not due to any shortcoming of yours. It was born out of truths they could not see. You were the one who put in the effort, carried the burden, and believed in the potential, but now you stand in a place where everything is clear. They were not high enough to reach you. The final break was hard but necessary, and then you felt true freedom. You now have a clear realization that not all bonds have to last forever. Some of the people who come into your life are there only to initiate change, to push your boundaries and make you grow. In the same way, you have become a landmark in their world. The path you took together was not devoid of meaning. You passed a test where your own strength took shape. But now, the time has come to part, and it is not a loss, but an inevitable step for both of you. You cannot support them any longer. You have shown them their potential. Perhaps they themselves have not yet realized it, but you have guided them to take the first steps towards growth. But no matter how deeply connected you feel, it is not your responsibility to make them go through this process. It is impossible to speed up their awakening, They have to find that path within themselves. The frustration that you used to carry, that you wish they could see, is no longer yours to carry. You have given them the necessary tools. It is their journey from now on. Sometimes, even though you want to believe that one day they will arrive at the same destination, you realize that the real act of love is to set them free. With this release, you are allowing them to step into their own journey, either to reach their full potential or to stay on their current path. It is not your job to steer them in a direction. Sometimes people need the silence of separation to initiate their own change, and this silence is a space they need to experience, not you. You have done what needed to be done, and now this journey ends in acceptance, not in pain. If one day your paths cross again, it will be with a much deeper awareness. For now, you have to let go of the weight of their unexplored aspects and move forward on your own path. Gone are the days of getting lost in the repetitive emotional ups and downs and chaos of life. The vain hopes that restricted you in the past are now giving way to freedom. While some people chain themselves to old patterns and cannot move forward, you have broken out of this cycle. You now have an awareness that is not limited by expectations, and you don't have to wait for others to change. Development is a profound discovery that each individual makes on their own journey. It cannot be forced, and it cannot be accelerated by anyone else. You have offered a helping hand, a chance, but now you have no choice but to witness them wallow in their own inner turmoil. Staying stuck in this old cycle only traps you in the past and prevents you from stepping into the possibilities that are waiting to move you forward. Like a phoenix reborn from the ashes, each step of your inner struggle was necessary to reunite you with your true power. The phoenix leaves its former self in flames, then rises from the ashes. You are being reborn, leaving behind the weights of the past, all the ties that limit you and the expectations that keep you where you are. This is not just a separation. It is a sacred resurrection, a chosen journey of your soul, rebuilding its own essence. Years of inner strife have laid the groundwork for the rebirth of your old self. You no longer have to keep up with anyone else's pace. The rhythm of others, the roles they expect of you and impose on you are just old habits of the past. Every day that passes now becomes a delay that keeps you from living to your full potential. Now is not the time for you to stop. Now is the time to move forward freely and dance to your own rhythm. You don't have to keep circling around the same dead ends. It is time to unleash the limitless power within you, your own light, more brightly. It's time to release your inner burdens, regrets, crumbs of hope, and all the obligations imposed on you. Because these weights are not really a legacy that you need to shoulder. They are just a burden left over from old cycles that you no longer feel the need to carry your soul through. This cycle should be left behind as a legacy that you need to let go of, not you. Now freed from your inner burdens and having realized your own wings, you are ready for a new ascension. This ascension is not only a journey into the depths of your soul, it is also a resurrection on your own chosen journey, where you break every bond that limits you. Each moment, like a phoenix reborn from the flames, you are letting go of the old and meeting your true potential. The cycles of the past will no longer stop you, because you now have the strength and determination to chart your own path. Choosing your own path does not mean leaving others behind. It is an indication that you prefer to discover yourself and move forward with a clear purpose. Leaving does not symbolize anyone's fault or shortcoming. It simply means that your journey needs to become lighter and more meaningful without the unfinished stories of others. This cycle is now over. Keep your feet firmly on the ground, determined, strong, and free. You can now move forward only by setting your own direction and pace. With these new steps, there is no turning back. Here, you find your true power. Now it is time to leave behind the burdens of the past and step into your completely new beginning. Your healing process is unfolding in full force, like a renewal moving forward, breaking through old patterns and barriers. With each passing day, you are peeling away the layers that hold you back and moving forward with a stronger and clearer self. Emotions that once weighed you down no longer have an impact. Uncertainties and obscure burdens are being erased. You have lost the allure of the past, realizing that it is unnecessary to pick up everything that has been broken. You have given up trying to justify old burdens. The expectations and emotional balances of others that consumed you are now lifted off your shoulders. With renewed freedom, you are exploring the path that belongs only to you. You are like an ancient sycamore tree standing alone on a mountain peak. You have endured years of storms, strong winds, and relentless rains, but you have not been shaken from your roots. Even though everything around you has collapsed, you have remained as strong as the plane tree, bearing the trace of life in every leaf, while at the same time making room for freedom with all your fallen leaves. This journey has been part of your process of reaching maturity as a chosen soul, finding inner peace and determining your own path. Now, in the depths of an inner calm, there is a clear calm that comes after all those storms. You once stood tall in the center of chaos, in the midst of all the confusion that swirled around you. What you once thought was solid has been broken. Everything that should have been destroyed has been destroyed. Only an unshakable understanding remains, rooted deep in your heart. No longer do you follow the erratic steps of others. No longer try to forcibly maintain bonds you cannot carry. The cracks you used to ignore are now staring you in the face, and you accept their existence for what it is. Like the sycamore, each crack reminds you of every storm you have weathered and every excess you have left behind. Sometimes you whisper to yourself that things need to end to make room for new beginnings, like old branches falling to make way for new shoots. This moment of realization drives you to move forward with a determination that is free of the burdens of the past. You are no longer trying to please anyone or repair broken branches. Now is the time to walk with your own inner strength and deepened awareness. You are on your own path, step by step, deeply rooted, emerging from each storm stronger and honoring your own reality. Now, with an unshakable spirit like a sycamore, you walk the path that belongs only to you. This is the moment of your soul's ascension, a chosen journey where you meet your essence with a lasting calm. The past no longer clouds your choices. You have released it, and with this freedom comes the opportunity to create something new in harmony with your own essence. The burden is lifted, and the path ahead is wide and open. Now is the time to move forward with your head held high, with a clear view of your purpose and a firm confidence in each new step. The bond that you once thought was unshakable was not a permanent foundation for your life, but a lesson you had to learn. That bond you believed in and cherished was a mirror held up for you to realize your own worth more deeply. The cracks that surfaced were not your shortcomings. They were the natural traces of a structure that was not suitable for the long term. This bond was not a union that would last forever, but came into your life to push you to the limits of your potential. Perhaps you thought that you were walking this path with determination, that this relationship or partnership was a secure bond that would lead you to your goal. But this relationship served a different purpose. It revealed aspects of yourself that still needed to be developed, made you question your limits, gave you the opportunity to reevaluate what you were willing to accept, and ultimately brought you closer to yourself. With disappointments, challenging experiences, and a clearer vision, you are moving forward with a stronger alignment to your original purpose. You have arrived at this point not through a complicated side path, but through an integral part of your journey to becoming yourself. This connection taught you the power of letting go and liberation. By releasing them, you are now free of burdensome expectations, the weight of unspoken promises and misleading possibilities, without compromising your own worth. With this release, you receive in return a priceless gift: freedom. You no longer need to make room in your life for someone who cannot see you as you are. You have prioritized yourself by making your own choice, and this is a profound act of self-worth. They too are now free to make their own choices, to find their way or to stay where they are. However, this journey is no longer your concern. You are like a lighthouse, shining like a beacon. You are a light for those who want to find their way, but you cannot set their course. The lighthouse only illuminates, but the ships have to choose their own path. You have done your part. You have guided with your light, but now each ship must go to its own harbor. This journey has been a process of realization, for you to keep your inner light and for others to find their own path. It was a moment of maturity in a chosen journey of your soul. Their journey no longer depends on you. The lesson has been learned, the burden has been lightened, and now you can move forward with a clearer purpose, knowing that connections come and go. Some people come into your life only to leave a lesson. You have learned this lesson, you have shed unnecessary burdens. You have the freedom to walk with your head held high and your path clear. You have realized that no matter how deep your bond is, you cannot make their choices for them. This realization has become an inner wisdom that illuminates your path, like the light of a lighthouse. Every individual has the right to make their own decisions. No one's destiny is changed by someone else's love or care. You have seen their potential, you have guided them, you have illuminated their path with your light, but you know that ultimately they must move forward of their own volition. It is ultimately the responsibility of each individual to choose their own path. Just as a lantern protects its own light, you are walking your own path with strong steps, keeping your inner light hidden. You are now independent of the choices of others. Although your light can guide the path of others, it cannot change their decisions. This is the moment of accessing the depth of your spiritual journey, staying on your own path and accepting that each individual must take responsibility for themselves. Like a lighthouse, you only point the way, but each traveler is free to chart their own course. With this realization, you are now ready to move forward, free of your burdens, on a clear path that exists only for you. Their path is theirs, and you should leave behind the idea of influencing it. Those who wish can hold on to old habits or escapism, but this is no longer your responsibility. You have taken your steps on the path of transformation, learned your lessons, and emerged stronger and more whole. Trying to carry others with you or protect them from the consequences of their choices only wears you down and slows your progress. They have to face the consequences of their behavior and choices. You no longer have to hold anyone's hand on this path. By facing your own shadows and healing your old wounds, you have moved on, and moved beyond the old patterns that the bond held you in. Now it's time to take a new step, to take yourself to that high point you have been striving to reach for so long. But in this progress, you have to let go of the desire to interfere in the journey of others. Their reluctance to grow is not your responsibility, and that burden is theirs. It is now their choice to rise or to stop, and this has always been the case. You guided them, you paved their path, but ultimately it was their job to move forward. Now you are moving forward, empowered on your own path instead of carrying others. You have grown too big to be caught in the repetitive cycles of others, too strong to be held back by their indecision. Let them find their own path. It is not for you to shape their destiny. Your path does not depend on their presence. You are free now. It is your own journey. It is time to ascend on this path that belongs only to you. You are at a point where you are no longer comparing yourself with others, but with your old self. There is no search for outside competition. The biggest test for you is between who you are and who you aspire to be. Each step is not just progress, but a profound transformation. You are leaving behind the burdens that have kept you in the past and approaching yourself and your purpose with greater clarity and determination every day. Each step you take leaves old habits and the boundaries of the past further behind. Every thought, every choice you make now moves you forward. You are liberated from thoughts and attachments that no longer align with your development. The cycle of old lessons is now in the past. It has completed its task, and a new path awaits you now. Every step you take aligns you towards a higher potential. The path you left behind is slowly disappearing with each step forward, leaving no room for turning back. Trust in the guidance deep within. Remember that you are moving forward with an invisible support that has been shaping your path all along. The challenges and obstacles of the past were part of the lessons necessary to move you into the present. You are not here to return to past cycles or to spend time on the same old paths you have already traveled. Your connection to your purpose has deepened. Every challenge you have faced has been there to strengthen you rather than weaken you. You are now more prepared than ever for the road ahead. Your experiences are not just a part of the past. They are now guides that you carry with you, illuminating your path. These lessons have sharpened your intuition, strengthened your resilience, and expanded your awareness. At every step, you now move forward with an unshakable confidence born within you. This realization you have achieved is no longer a distant possibility and is manifesting in your every move. In the light of divine guidance, you are stepping into a new era of your life, moving beyond the old cycles. Walk forward. You are now much stronger than your old self, and this is the greatest strength you have. You are the light of the world. The city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Like that city, you are a guide to those around you with your presence and power. Those who see you find signs of a journey full of hope. Your inner strength is evident, and you already have everything you need for this holy journey. Seeking the approval of others or external validation is but a shadow of its former self. For the power you have is beyond the support and affirmation that others can give. This power is a sacred inheritance given to you. You are empowered by a divine light. Every word you say and every decision you make takes you out of the vicious cycles of the past and moves you forward. The old patterns that used to limit you are over. Each new day is a new page written with your own purpose and inner strength. You continue to rise towards a higher self, shedding old layers and shedding burdens. You are no longer crushed by the chains of the past, nor by the burdens of others. You walk knowing that your struggle is not with others, but with your past self. Each step is a victory within yourself. Do not be conformed to this world, but be renewed in your mind, so that you may understand what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. With this renewed mind, every step you take takes you further along the path that God offers you. Wake up every morning with a renewed energy of life within you. Motivate yourself with divine light, feeling that your journey is blessed and that there are no obstacles to your growth. The old books have already been closed, and a new page full of hope and determination has already been opened. You are evolving and developing every moment. Your strength is undeniable on this path that God is offering you. Feel free to share your story, to show others how far you have come, the obstacles you have overcome, and the goal you envision. Your words will be a beacon of inspiration for those who are trying to find their own way. For God has not given us a spirit of cowardice, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. With this God-given spirit, fulfill the tasks you have been given, and make the world a little brighter by walking in love, strength, and wisdom. Guide those who seek the way, and help them to bring out the light within. Continue on your journey. Evolution is inevitable for you, and power is your blessed gift. Like a shining star in the sky, follow your own path. Give hope to others with the light that God has given you.